Welcome back, everybody, to the Assassin Cast. You got me, Jay the Gamer. This is round number 2. Hopefully, round 1 went pretty well, and now you get into this, so can't go wrong with all of that. So today, I wanted to talk about something that's pretty freaking interesting, if you ask me. I ordered something from China the other day, and it came in the mail. And I got the R4 Gold. So for those who are listening to this right now, I'm holding in my hand a yellow cartridge that fits into the Nintendo DS. And it's pretty interesting. I wanted to talk about it a little bit because this is something else, man. The Nintendo DS, I got right here the original one that I had, that was actually given to me a while back. And there are a lot of games. It's good. It plays Game Boy Advance games and everything like that. So it goes well in my collection. The reason I picked up the R4 card is, I'm pretty big with owning original hardware, original physical media, but there's something about this that's actually really interesting. So on the back here they have a little SD slot. Micro SD slot, I'm sorry. And I have my 256 gigabyte micro SD in there. Some people think that you can't put this size card in the R4 card, but that's not true. I have this formatted to FAT32, and FAT32, I'm sorry. And it works perfectly fine with the software. This is the 2018 version, which just obviously came out. I must have ordered it right when they were releasing this, so it's good. It's good stuff to have right here. So the reason I picked this up is, right now I'm focusing mostly on collecting for my PlayStation 3 and my original PlayStation. So as I have other games, other systems, I don't have a very big apartment here where I live at, so I can't have everything on display, so I kind of just use 2 systems at a time. So I start looking and searching for different games, and when I'm laying down in bed, I don't really have the opportunity to throw the PlayStation 3 on. It just doesn't happen. If I want to do that, I gotta be up in here in front of my nice backdrop screen over here to be able to play my PS3. So to lay back in bed and have this, it's good. So I'm not really collecting for the Nintendo DS at the moment. I'm not saying that it's a bad system. It's really not. But this is not exactly what I'm looking for at the moment. So I picked this up, and I was able to get the custom firmware and put it on my micro SD through a SD card slot. They say, this is what's really funny. If you look at all the videos on YouTube, they say don't use the little dongle that comes with this R4 card right here. They say don't use it. And I thought it was the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard. Why not use it? They gave it to you for a reason, right? But then, you get a little nervous and you're like, oh, okay, people, they have this, they don't use it. There's obviously a reason. They say it grips the micro SD card too hard. I don't know how that works. I honestly don't. But why would they give you something that's gonna mess up your micro SD card? It doesn't make sense. So I go about getting the firmware through the computer, download the firmware, put it onto my micro SD. I used a tutorial. I'm not sure which one it was. I had to go through a few, and actually one in Italian, which made me laugh because I am Italian. I know how to speak it, and stuff like that. So when I came across that, I was like, great. The only person that had the same problem as me is out there in Italy. How does that even work? I don't understand. But regardless, I downloaded the firmware. I loaded it onto my micro SD. I put it in here. I have a couple of files that I actually own as backups, and then I have some that are not, that I don't own at the moment. Not gonna lie to you. It's not what I'm collecting for right now. But it doesn't mean that this outdated handheld shouldn't get played. I'm still playing it on the hardware, so for you, those of you out there that are so highly against emulation, you know what? It works for me. What are you gonna do? So anyway, I put the games in a folder, and I put it on this SD card, and I put it in. Pop this R4 card in the Nintendo DS, and it boots up. It boots up the firmware and everything, and it had games on there. There should be no reason why it wouldn't work. And I actually had gotten the what was I gonna say? The actual update for 2018, I think. And don't quote me on that because I'm not sure if they even released that yet. And I got the update, and I also put that in the files for this. And what was funny is I'm thinking that, like, all right, I followed the tutorial. This should work just fine. I shouldn't have no issues. So I went in, I turned it on, and I'll turn it on right now for you, right here, so you can see it boot up. It boots up, and now it says, touch for Bomberman Land. Here, I'm gonna cut to a different camera. Oh, touch for Bomberman Land. You see that? That's probably the game that they hacked to be able to put the custom firmware on there. That's what I'm thinking it is, and if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. All right. So you tap it, and then it goes into the firmware. It says loading. Boom, it pops up. Let me switch to the other camera. You got the firmware going. All right. So I put the game on, and I put the games on. I go to click it, and what pops up is a loading screen. It goes to load up the ROM. So once the ROM loads up, you're thinking this is going to be fine. It's going to work. Like I did everything the tutorial said, right? So as it loads up, it says save file not found, and that doesn't make any sense to me. That's like, look, I got a 256 gigabyte card in there. That's a lot of space to be able to save anything, really. I mean, like I bet you there's more space on that card than there are Nintendo DS games. So that doesn't really make any sense to me. So something that I did was I went looking for videos, essentially, of people that had the same issue and the same problem as me. And I had not found a single video. Like I said, the only guy that had the similar problem to me was located in Italy. And they tried to change the time in the Nintendo DS and set it the year to 2010. That still didn't work for me either. Like those little minor fixes didn't make any sense. So I'm putting out this second podcast because I wanted to talk a little bit about this. The second video I looked for, they actually did something else, and I'm not really too sure about what exactly it was. I don't really remember, to be honest, of what they did on the second video, but it really doesn't make a difference. I had to go looking through forums of people that have the similar R4 card, or maybe not the gold, because this one's the Gold Pro for the 3DS, DSi, XL, LL, DSL, and DS. I had to go looking through forums to find someone that had a similar problem, and I wasn't sure if he even had the gold, but it came to my attention that somebody had listed an emulator for the computer, or PC or Mac, whatever you have out there. They have an emulator that does both. It's actually Mac and PC. So I looked through the forums for some similar issues, and what I found is they listed the emulator because you need to create a save file through the emulator. And then once you have the save file, you put it on the desktop, and then you load that ROM with the save file onto your micro SD, put it into your R4 Gold or R4 whatever version you have, and then put it into the DS, and it works. And what was funny was all these tutorials on YouTube, nobody says it. Nobody tells you that you need to make a save file out of an emulator to be able to play the games on this card. And what I thought was funny is, I go looking for this, right? Go looking through forums. I literally spent a whole night after work looking for this to figure this out. And the funniest thing about this is having to go through that whole process of getting an emulator and whatever. Yeah, you had to find the save file. That was something I had to go searching for. But the kernel to be able to use the firmware and all of that, it's on the USB dongle. You know, the thing they tell you not to use, they have all that shit right on there. So once again, I didn't realize this until I actually was putting away the box. You know, I fixed the issue. I was playing a few games. I think I was playing like Mario Kart or something. I was playing a few games and then go to put the box away, and lo and behold, it says it right on the box. They have everything you need in the dongle. Now, don't hold this to me because I didn't actually put the dongle in to make sure, since I did it the other way. But I'm pretty sure they wouldn't put that on the box just to tell you that it's not on there. It doesn't make sense. But I pretty much wanted to get this podcast out there because this was an important thing that I had to go looking for, this DST file, which happens to be a save. It's a save file essentially for whatever game you're playing. So if you're running into the same problem, that is something I suggest. You get an emulator that works on your computer, and then what you do is you make a save file, save it to your desktop, wherever it's easily accessible, and then you load the ROM onto the micro SD, and then you stick it in this little guy right here, put it in the DS, and you're good to go. And honestly, it served that purpose very well. I think it worked out pretty good, matter of fact, because I've been using this every night this week, and works out good. The library itself, I agree, I disagree. I'm not really a Nintendo guy anymore. I like the NES, I grew up playing that, and the Super Nintendo, don't get me wrong. I also had Nintendo 64s. I can't really say I was never a Nintendo guy, but it's just to me, I'm on a different type of stuff. I'm looking for PlayStation things, and at the moment I don't have a Vita, which is kind of crazy to hear that Jay the Gamer does not have a Vita. I really don't have a Vita. Sorry out there, no Vita. But this is serving the purpose for now. I am looking to pick one up, and that's pretty much it, man. That's what I wanted to talk about. I had my last podcast in the mix. This Assassin Cast number 2 is actually going to probably be out before the first one because I'm waiting for my article to be posted. So there is no article to go with this one at the moment, mainly because I'm catering to an older crowd, and I feel like this particular situation, not everyone older is going to be looking for that particular thing. So it definitely needed to be out here though, and maybe I'll do some editing, but since it's just a podcast, I don't think I want to show you a tutorial of just exactly how I do it. I mean, maybe if somebody really needs the help in the comments, you let me know, and I will do a tutorial specifically to show you how to make the save file, how to load it onto the SD with the software and everything, and then you will get the real tutorial of how to do it. By all means, I will definitely do that. You just gotta let me know. I'm hoping that I'm gonna get the good feedback on these videos. Just starting out, trying to get everything going good. Actually, real quick, I don't know where I put it, but I was actually playing a really good game last night. It was Knockout Kings for the PlayStation 1. That was a fun game. Believe it or not, the graphics are terrible. But it was fun, man. I had my sister's fiance, actually. Congratulations to them. He was here. We were having a good time, going back and forth. I was playing as Rocky, Marciano, trying to do all this stuff. It was great. It was a good time. That was a great game. Very underrated sports game right there. For those that don't get to play the sports games or the quote-unquote shovelware, That was a good one. That was a good one to play. I'm glad he actually picked that up out of my collection. I was like, that is a great idea. That is such a good game to play right now. We threw it in 1, 2, 3. We were already playing. You know, some of the new titles, you don't get that same luxury. But anyway, you know, I want to keep this one short and sweet since the first one's about an hour. You know, usually I want to run this for about an hour, so we'll see how it goes. I do have a co-host in the works. He knows who he is. Maybe on the Assassin Cast number 3, we'll get him up out here and we'll see what we can do, you know. So that's it for now. You know, we own the sky. Assassin Cast. Peace.